Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? It's Dan here from CryoNoir. We are now on week 4 of the devlog for my new game. Yeah, week 4. We're rolling on now. This is good. A couple of points of order. I hope you like my new pop filter for my microphone. It came out of my sock drawer. And it's dead good. It now looks like he's wearing a beanie, which is dead cool. But the upside of that is I now can say penis, penis, penis without any worries of it crackling, which is good. And it was free. So yeah, where are we? Last time. Okay, so I've just come back from a break. I'd taken a week out so I could do the Amiga video. Yeah, came back to the game with fresh eyes. Last time I'd got as far as I'd put a tile set in place. And I'd managed to get I managed to get the airlock doors closing as you went into that room. So that was all working perfectly fine. That was working good. Okay, so I decided the focus now for this first week was I was going to work on the enemies, get them doing something a little bit more interesting than just sort of sitting there like little circles for you to shoot, like little targets. I wanted to get a bit of movement and a bit of AI and a bit of behaviour in them. And I've come to the conclusion this week that making video games is fucking hard. It's really fucking hard. I don't think I'm going to give any developers any shit anymore because it's fucking really hard just doing the basics thing that you would think would be like, oh, quite easy. It turns out, no, not so much. And if you're following like tutorials and everything like that, you kind of, obviously you just get the end result. You don't get the kind of the trial and the error and the sort of fucking about they've had to do to get to that point. They're just like, oh yeah, put this in, and there you go, and it works. All I really needed was for the enemies to potter around the place, sort of in what I would describe as a wander state, or a kind of not doing anything sort of state, minding their own business. Then they will become alerted to your presence, and then go batshit and go chasing after you. Fairly straightforward. Loads of people have done different tutorials and different ways of doing this on YouTube, so that shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, so I've been playing around that, but every time I try to implement it, or everything I tried to do with that, it just ended up fucking failing, or something would go hideously wrong. And now I will go through some of those fails with you. First of all, I got them so that they would basically see you and then just come and chase after you. I thought, oh, that's a good place to start, if we can get them so that they will just chase you. So I did that and I got that going, and that was fairly straightforward. But obviously I hadn't programmed in any collision, or didn't have any collision with the walls, so they would just literally swarm on you and go straight through the walls and straight through everything and just swarm you, which is not ideal. So then what I did is I managed to get the collision sorted with the walls, or certainly get it in place. What was then happening was that they would come wandering up to the walls and then just get stuck on the walls. And they would stay stuck as well. That was the really annoying thing. I couldn't quite work out how to fix that. They would come pottering up and they would then just hit the wall and then just stop. And it didn't matter if you went around the other side of the wall, so you were behind them, they would for some reason stay collided with the wall, which was not good. I then managed to fix that issue so that then they would actually come and hit the wall and then move along the wall and track along it and try and find a way around, which was good. And the end result of that was really good. That was like a proper swarm. They were really coming for you on that one, and I thought that's kind of the effect I want for sort of later on in the game, where you're just absolutely hoofing it and there's loads of them just streaming after you, and it's going to be next to impossible to stay alive. You just have to run and shoot them as they come at you, basically. Slight problem with this, which I haven't got round to fixing yet, is that they won't go in the airlock. You go into the airlock and they tend to run in and go up to the airlock and then just fucking stop. And they refuse to come in. Now I have a feeling that's because you're on an object, basically, albeit there's no collision programmed with that. Well, certainly not with the enemies anyway, but you're going onto an object which then triggers the doors closing. So I'm wondering if for some reason that's basically meaning that they can't see you anymore. I don't know. I think that's what it is. Because they come up that far and they'll swarm right the way around the airlock, but they just won't come in, which is kind of important. I want them to come into the airlock. That's supposed to be like your last stand, with them all coming in and the doors closing very, very slowly, and you're like hammering at them to try and stay alive. So this is something I need to fix. I have an idea that potentially I could do like a thing that once you've gone in and the doors start closing, it destroys the airlock floor sensor type thing, and hopefully that should fix it. But then I don't want it to kind of you know, stop the airlock doors from closing, because that would be annoying. So, you know, we're getting there. I think I'll be able to fix that. If I don't, then I will be hitting the forums and going, what the fuck, how do I fix this? But I think that should be okay. I think I can work a way around that. So next, I needed to get them to do kind of a wander state. So that way they would sort of wander around the place, bimble about, doing nothing, whatever, and then they would be alerted to you. I got what I thought was a working program for that, and managed to set it all up and get it doing its thing, but they just sort of stayed in the same place and just vibrated about the place. It looks as though they had Parkinson's or something, which was not ideal. I think I know what caused that. I think that was just a case of I needed to sort out an alarm system, so that way they would know to kind of wander in a direction for a period of time, then pick a different direction, rather than they would just sort of seem to constantly be trying to change their mind as to which way to go. So that wasn't such a big problem. I was able to fix that fairly easily. The next problem on from that was I didn't want them to be able to see you through walls, because otherwise it kind of just makes it a little bit, I don't know, they're always on alert basically. They need to be able to sort of ignore you if there's a wall in between you and them. I managed to implement that as well. So now we have a complete system where they will wander around, ignore you if there's a wall in between you, and then only come after you when they see you and there's direct line of sight. I'm debating, you see, it's almost a case of I might as well have not bothered with the wander state by the time the actual game gets a little bit more further down the line, because potentially because of the lighting system I intend to implement at some point, and the idea that I'm potentially going to have them invisible to the player if there's no line of sight there, would then mean that the chances that you're going to see them and they're in a wander state and they're not going to see you is going to be really slim. So potentially I might very well have done a fuck ton of programming and a fuck ton of work for a feature or a state that you're never actually going to see, or would very rarely see. You might occasionally see one just pottering about the place, and then I suppose that would give it a sort of air, wouldn't it, if you know, like you did every so often vaguely just see them wandering around. Maybe if I give them some sort of audible thing, you know, when they're pottering about, and it changes so that there is like a definite change when they see you, maybe, I don't know. But, you know, this is all to be worked out further down the line, I guess. So now we had them so that they would wander about the place and they would chase you when they saw you, and there was direct line of sight and they wouldn't come with that. I thought it's time to make them look a little bit more interesting rather than just little circles. So I designed a little ant sprite and animated it and got it all ready. So now they are just little potter about ants that sort of seem to look quite cool. I think they look alright. They certainly look good enough. I've had to go with strong colours with these guys. Again, this is all going to come into the lighting system later down the line. It does still look very flat and very 2D, but it will look a lot better once the lighting's in place. I promise you it'll look loads better. An interesting byproduct of putting sprites on the actual enemies now is you get to see what their behaviour is a lot better than when it was just a circle, because when it was just a circle with an outline, you couldn't tell what it was doing other than whether or not it was stationary or whether it was moving. But now you start to see that they spin round all over the place. This is particularly like prevalent when they get to the airlock, they just properly spin round like absolutely mental bananas. It does look quite odd, but sometimes it looks okay. Like, you know, for instance, if they're facing you when they see you, then they just track straight to you, whereas if they're behind you, they kind of do like a weird sort of spin round thing as though they don't know where you are and then come after you. Like, they become aware that you're there and then they're just trying to work out where you are and then they come after you. So I could possibly explain that away as some sort of alien animal behaviour thing if anyone asks me in the future, and just never tell them about this log that, you know, it was just a byproduct of how they behaved and I don't know how to fix it. So there might very well be a way to fix it, but I don't know. I think there are much bigger fish to fry at the moment. Now that they're running around all over the place, I kind of figured that they needed a death sprite as well. So that's what I did. I did a death sprite, so when you hit them, they die and they create a new object, which is just a splatter object, which looks pretty cool. I'm also going to put some particle effects on that as well at some point. But again, these are small things that need to be done later on. Right now I'm just building and building. So as I said in my video on Wednesday, I didn't do anything. I couldn't do anything Monday and Tuesday night because I had family and other commitments dealing with the shithead upstairs. So effectively I've only worked on this Thursday and Friday and a little bit of Saturday as well, and I managed to get, you know, some pretty good steps forward, which is good. They're starting to look a little bit better. I also have spent a lot of time working on a lighting system as well. I've managed to find someone that's done a free-to-use lighting engine, which looks amazing, and I don't really want to show it off yet, but it looks fucking really cool on the version that works, and mine currently doesn't. I can't seem to integrate it into my game at the moment. It keeps throwing up fuck tons of error messages and fails, like, so I still need to try and work out how to get that going, but theoretically when that's in place, things should be looking fucking gravy. It should look really cool. So yeah, all in all a good week. I think I've got some good progress. We've gone from effectively just the enemies being little blocks, you sat there and did nothing, to actually chasing you, doing stuff, being animated and exploding when you kill them. So no, you know, good little steps forwards. I'm already starting to panic about the February deadline. I honestly don't think it's going to be ready for then. Certainly not the progress that I'm making right now, but you know, we'll just have to see. Hopefully it should be fine. I'll just keep plugging away at it, and yes, okay. It will, yes, it's going to be ready for February. It's going to be ready for February. That's fine. Just keep working. There's not that much to do, honestly. Just another 5 or 6 enemy types, a lighting system, fixing loads of bugs, new weapons, room changes, and an intro sequence and an outro sequence. So yeah, there's still an awful lot to go. But you know, we'll just keep doing every little bit each week, and this is good. So that's that for week 4. We have some more movement. Week 5, I think. Week 5, I want to try and at least get one of the lighting systems in place. Again, this is all kind of tied into a gameplay sort of mechanic that I want working with the game. I'm almost looking that I might potentially have to abandon that because I don't know if I can get it to work. I'm going to keep banging my head against that brick wall, hopefully, because if it does pay off, it's going to be really good, and it's going to be the thing that sort of sets this apart, and people will actually, that'll be like kind of the reason for playing this game. So it is kind of crucial that I get this done and get it working, but I am no idea how I'm actually going to do it. I thought I would know how to do it, and it turns out I don't. So, but we will see, we'll keep going. That's it for week 4, guys. Thank you very much. You can see me again on Wednesday when I will have another random sort of weekday musings kind of thing. I need a title for those, so that way you can differentiate them, because I currently have sort of at the minute 3 things running. I have my devlogs, which come out every Sunday for the first 3 weeks out of the 4, and then every Wednesday I have a general video where I'm just talking about stuff going on in the gaming industry and all that kind of stuff, and then on the 4th week there's no Wednesday video, and then Sunday I upload a big, well, it's not even that big, the Amiga one wasn't, a much better, a much more sort of polished video that I do on the Sundays. The last one I did was the Amiga video. I got a fairly good reception, people like that. I thought it turned out really well. I was really happy with that, so check that one out. And yeah, I will see you either Wednesday when you come for my general. Yeah, no, come for the Wednesday one. Come for the Wednesday one. You'll love it. It's great. I'm going to be talking about something really cool. So Wednesday is going to be good. And I will see you again on Sunday for another devlog with a lighting system. Definitely. Thank you very much, guys. Take it easy. See you later. Bye-bye.